Hey, Illumination. Have you ever found yourself needing a break from the dementia care chaos around you? Like every day, right? And have you ever found yourself unable to leave your loved one and their dementia behind for even the shortest amount of time? That was my choice this past weekend. It was my partner's birthday, and she wanted to leave our home in Tucson to head to San Diego, California. It's about a 6 hour drive away. We both have friends in the area, and we had a wonderful long weekend lined up. Now, I know it's okay to take a pause from the madness, and things have been really stressful for us lately on every front, not just mom's dementia. So she and I took the time off from work and headed out for some much needed R&R. We put all of those troubles in the rear view for a weekend, and then the phone rang. Before we get to the phone call, let's talk about the prep work we did for making sure my mom was taken care of while I was gone. Now, mom was in the hands of caregivers who we know and trust, and they were caring for her around the clock. Because her dementia's progressed to a point where we just can't take care of her at home, we know she's always in good hands at the retirement community that's just down the street from us. They know us, know my mom's routines, and call anytime anything is out of the ordinary. We let them know we were going out of town and made sure everyone knew how to reach us. When things almost fell apart, that's when careful planning saved the trip. And this is where we get back to the phone call. So we'd just gotten to San Diego and set our bags down in a charming little Airbnb we'd rented for the night. And that's when the call came in. On the phone was a caregiver telling me that my mom wanted to talk to me. Oh boy, my heart dropped. I internally cringed, preparing for the worst. And it was actually kind of a doozy. She told me that 3 men had been standing outside her room the night before, talking about how they were going to break in and kill her. Whew, this was a new one. I listened and validated as best I could, because what else could I do? And then she asked me to come visit, and I had to tell her I was in San Diego and couldn't be there for several days. Okay, she said in her best Northeastern WASP passive-aggressive martyr voice. I know you're always busy, and abruptly handed the phone back to the caregiver and walked off. Now, there are a lot of things I could have taken away from that conversation, and the choice I made there determined how the whole rest of the weekend was going to go. So let's run some scenarios. What can we hear in that conversation? I suppose I could have heard that there's a murderous triad of monsters hanging out in her retirement community in the middle of the night, but I decided not to go for that one. I could have heard that she's having bad dreams, or maybe the caregivers are being noisy in the halls. I might have come to believe that old anxieties for her own safety are coming out that I never knew about. Perhaps I heard that she needed me to be there, and that I disappointed her because I wasn't. I could have heard that I'm responsible for my mom's feelings and well-being. Maybe I heard that I'm a bad son because I wasn't available. And those things all rattled around in my head for a minute. Okay, not so much the trio of noisy ninjas outside mom's door, but the rest seemed pretty plausible. And they would have ruined this beautiful sunset on the beach with my partner and 2 very good friends that evening. So I chose to hear the important parts of the conversation and ignore the fake crises that I was making up. I took out the guilt and replaced it with facts. Here's what I chose to hear. The caregiver had my phone number and knew to call me when mom was agitated. She also had enough time to do that, and she cared enough to see it through. I heard that although mom was disappointed, her voice was strong and healthy. She was confused, but she was well and well looked after. I know the security measures in the building, and I know the caregiver rounds, so I know that she's safe. I heard the caregiver tell me that she was reassuring my mom, and the caregiver's voice was kind and understanding. She said she knew I was out of town, because I told them before I left, and that she'd give my mom some extra attention. I was also happy that my message about being out of town actually made it to the caregivers, so I knew things were organized and well in hand. Finally, when I got off the phone, I heard my partner tell me that she supported me in going to see my mom as much as I needed to when I got home. The lesson here is that I listened for the real problems. Was mom safe and secure? Were caregivers aware of the situation? Were they spending time with her and giving her reassurance? Yes. Apart from that, I had 3 choices. Race back to Tucson in a fluster, probably totally ineffective, worry all weekend, or enjoy my time. Sure, nagging fears crept into my time on vacation from time to time, but then I looked at the reality again and did my best to let the guilt and worries go. I needed that time away in order to come back and be a great caregiver for her. I took it, nearly guilt-free, and I'm back now and ready for more. Maybe I'll even go on Ninja Patrol tonight. Have you had similar experiences or reservations about taking a break from caregiver duties? Or maybe you've run into some noisy ninjas in the middle of the night and you'd like to share some martial arts tactics. Regardless, if this video has been helpful for you, give it a like. And for more insights like this, subscribe to this channel.